If you didn't have the opportunity to watch the Starship's 9 flight test that was launched on May 27, 2025, or even if you did, let's review what was accomplished this time. Contrary to most reports, this flight was a successful test. SpaceX pushed the spacecrafts to their limits and obtained critical data to continue developing this remarkable spacecraft. Continuing with its goal to maintain low cost and fast reflight, the Super Heavy booster used in this flight test was the same Super Heavy boosters used during Test Flight 7 and had minimal changes to its condition after returning for that flight. Ensuring that the Super Heavy boosters can be reused for another launch almost immediately is essential for SpaceX plans to take humans to Mars. In this flight test, the 33 Raptor engines of the Starship Super Heavy booster B-14-2 completed the planned ascent, and for the first time after separating from the hot stage, the booster performed a controlled maneuver flip, rotating in a specific direction before its boost back burn. This was achieved by using reinforced panels on the hot stage vents that will push it in the desired direction. By controlling the rotation direction required less propellant for a safe return to Earth, therefore allowing large payload launches. During its return flight, the booster maintained a very high angle of attack to reduce speed, aided by the aerodynamic forces generated as the atmospheric density increased during descent, thus using less propellant during the initial landing burn. SpaceX also planned other high-risk activities, such as simulating the loss of the boosters and attempting to land with the remaining ones. As the booster approached its landing site in the Gulf of America, it ignited 13 of its Raptor engines, and at about 6 minutes into the flight, the booster experienced a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. However, let's remember that since this Super Heavy booster test was high risk, SpaceX did not plan to recover it, so the real data obtained while controlling the booster flight at a higher angle of attack is considered a success, and this data will contribute to improving the performance of future vehicles, including the next generation of Super Heavy boosters, which are expected to fly at an even higher angle of attack. Simultaneously, after the successful separation of the Super Heavy booster, the Starship upper stage ignited 6 Raptor engines and completed a full ascent. In the third flight test of this new version of a Starship, mitigation measures were implemented after the lessons learned from the flight tests 7 and 8, including additional preload of key joints, and new nitrogen purge systems and improvements to the propellant drainage system. During a Starship suborbital flight, a payload deployment test was planned using 8 Starlink satellite simulators, which will burn up upon atmospheric re-entry. Unfortunately, the payload bay door failed to open and this test could not be performed. Shortly after, an attitude control error, probably due to a fuel leak inside a Starship, caused the Raptor reignition to be skipped, preventing a Starship from reaching the planned position for re-entry. Without the necessary control for a successful landing, Starship initiated an automated safety process to release residual pressure and position the vehicle in the safest condition for re-entry. The telemetry and the images transmitted via Starlink show that the loss of attitude put the Starship into a roll, and without continuous protection from the heat shield, we could see how one of the flaps began to disintegrate. At about 46 minutes into the flight, contact with the spacecraft was lost. Starship's debris was expected to fall within the designated hazard zone in the Indian Ocean. Although SpaceX could not evaluate the adjustments made to the Starship heat shield during re-entry, the 9 Starship flight tests marked a significant milestone for the reuse of the Super Heavy booster. The data captured during this flight will help the SpaceX team to implement new improvements for future Starship and Super Heavy vehicles. So, echoing the words of the SpaceX team, development tests are by definition unpredictable, but every lesson learned marks progress towards Starship's ultimate goal, enabling life to become multiplanetary. If you like the information in this channel, please don't forget to follow me and subscribe.